friends. Today we're talking about a book that has shaken the thinking of millions of people around the world. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's right, Robert Kiyosaki's book is no ordinary read. It's a revolution that changes mindsets. If you want to become wealthy, if you want to live your dream life, then don't miss a single point in today's story. Robert Kiyosaki says he had two fathers. One, the man who gave him life, and the other, the man who taught him how to think like a rich person. The first was Poor Dad, his biological father. The second was Rich Dad, his best friend's father, from whom he received his real financial education. Poor Dad was highly educated, intelligent, a PhD holder, so sharp that he finished his undergraduate degree in less than 4 years. In contrast, Rich Dad never studied beyond the 8th grade. Yet in vision, foresight, and understanding of money, he was a true mastermind. Now think about it. Both men worked hard, lived honest lives. But what was the outcome? One father struggled with a shortage of money his entire life, and when he died, he left debts behind. The other father, who had only passed 8th grade, became one of the richest people in the prosperous state of Hawaii. And when he left this world, he passed on millions of dollars to his family, his church, and the poor. What made the difference between their lives? That difference was their thinking, their understanding of money, and their perspective. Poor Dad used to say, "The love of money is the root of all evil." Rich Dad used to say, "The lack of money is the root of all evil." One would say, "I can't afford it." The other would scold and say, "Don't talk like that. Instead say, how can I afford it?" Because when you say, "I can't afford it," your mind shuts down. But when you ask, "How can I afford it?" your mind starts working, starts looking for a way. And that's how you move forward. One father used to say, "Study hard so you can get a good job." The other said, "Study hard so one day you can buy a company yourself." One would say, "I couldn't become rich because I have to raise my children." The other would say, "I have to become rich because I have to secure my children's future." There were two dads. One always encouraged money and business discussions at the dinner table, while the other used to say, "Don't talk about money while eating. It's not proper." One said, "When it comes to money, always play it safe. Don't take risks." The other said, "Stop fearing risks. Learn to face them." One dad believed, "My house is my biggest asset, my greatest investment." The other used to say, "My house is a liability, a burden. If you consider your house your greatest investment, you're fooling yourself." Both paid their bills on time. But the difference was, one paid them first to avoid stress, while the other paid them last, so that his money could work for him first. One dad taught me how to build a strong resume to get a good job, while the other taught me how to write a business and financial plan, so I could create jobs. Even as a child, I realized, our lives are shaped by our thoughts. I saw that my poor dad wasn't poor because he earned less. He was poor because his mindset, his perspective, his actions were all like those of a poor man. When Robert's real education began, he was just 9 years old. And for the next 30 years, his rich dad gave him the kind of wisdom that no school or college ever teaches. This book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is a treasure chest of those priceless lessons. Now I'm going to share with you the most important lessons that made Robert's dad rich, and Robert as well. Lesson number 1. The rich don't work for money. Money works for them. Yes, you heard that right. The poor and middle class run after money. But the rich build a system where money starts running after them. But there is a huge trap that most people fall into. It's called the rat race. Robert explains, when a poor or a middle-class person gets a job, they immediately start spending on a new phone, expensive car, branded clothes, and lifestyle, just to appear successful. And then begins the cycle. The EMI trap. A cycle of endless monthly payments that never seems to end. If that person misses even 1 month of work, fear starts to creep in. What if the bank repossesses my car? What if I miss my home loan payment? What will society think of me? He wakes up in the morning, goes to work, comes home exhausted. The month ends, salary comes, and it's gone to the bank. Every month, every year, every decade. That person keeps running in this race and never gets out. This is what Robert calls the rat race. Now the biggest question, how to escape this race? If you truly want to get out of this race, you need to stop working for money. You need to learn how to make money work for you. Through business, investments, and a smart financial mindset. That's the real way forward. If you want to bring real change in your life, then change your mindset. Learn, invest, and believe in yourself. Because the day money starts working for you, that's the day you truly start walking the right path on the journey to becoming rich. Most people go through their entire lives without realizing that the real question isn't how much you earn, but how much you save and where you invest it. You must have heard this many times. A poor person wins the lottery, becomes a millionaire overnight, but just a few years later, they're back to living in poverty. Why? Because they lack financial understanding. The biggest gap in their life is financial intelligence. When I was a kid, my rich dad always used to say, if you want to be rich, you need to understand money. And that understanding starts with knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. If you want to be rich, just remember this simple rule. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. It sounds simple, but here's the truth. 80% of people live in financial struggle their whole life. Just because they don't understand this one rule. Poor and middle-class people often buy things that make them feel rich. Big cars, the latest phones, branded clothes. But all these things are liabilities. They silently keep draining money from their pockets. On the other hand, rich people make calculated decisions. They put their money into things that generate more money, like real estate, stocks, and businesses. These are called asterisk assets. Let me explain this with a simple example. Adam and Jack both got jobs at the same time. Both had $6,000 in savings. Adam bought a fancy bike to show off and enjoy life. Jack used the same $6,000 to buy a small plot of land. At first, Adam cruised around on his bike, grabbing everyone's attention. Jack? He still struggled through crowded trains every day, but fast forward 10 years. Jack's land was now worth $60,000. Adam's bike? It wasn't even worth selling to a scrap dealer. Jack sold the land and bought another cheaper one, worth $12,000 but valued at $18,000. And in another 10 years, that land became worth $120,000. Jack slowly became a millionaire. He then bought a home, a car, and luxury. But the difference was his comfort came from the income generated by his assets. And Adam? Even after 20 years, he was still struggling because he spent his hard-earned money on liabilities, which kept sucking money out of his pocket like a slow poison. That's the real difference between a rich and a poor mindset. A poor person first buys things that look flashy. A rich-minded person first buys our assets, house, and then comfort. That's why the rich keep getting richer, because their assets work for them. So the next time money comes into your hands, ask yourself this: are you buying an asset? Or just another liability that will drain your pocket? Because the real difference lies in just this one understanding. And the one who truly understands it is the one who truly becomes rich. Mind your own business. Does that mean go to the office quietly, sit at your desk, kill time, and return home? Absolutely not. The true meaning runs much deeper. It means, yes, do your job, but your real focus should be on something else, on building your own assets, because that is what will change your life. To become rich, you don't need to quit your job. You need to earn smart, save smart, and most importantly, invest smart. Mind your own business means ignore the noise of the world, avoid pointless show-offs, and identify the liabilities that are silently eating away your money, like fancy cars, the latest phones, or that flashy lifestyle. These things give temporary happiness but keep you broke in the long run. So what exactly are assets? They're things that work for you, even when you're not working, like stock market investments, government bonds, mutual funds, real estate. Put your money into these and continue doing your job, because now your money works quietly for you, in the background. Remember this: poor people buy luxuries first. Rich people buy assets first, and then enjoy luxuries through the income those assets generate. Your real enemy isn't your salary, it's your wrong priorities. Now let's talk about the system that silently takes a huge chunk of your hard-earned income. Taxes. Robert Kiyosaki says, "Why give away so much of your hard-earned money to the government just like that?" And this is exactly where the rich win. Because they understand the system. They know how to legally reduce their taxes. They hire smart lawyers and tax accountants. Because they understand that paying a good lawyer is cheaper than paying the government unnecessarily. The rich don't get crushed by taxes. The middle class does. Especially the educated ones who may have degrees, but lack knowledge of how the system works. If you don't understand the law, if you don't understand the system, then you can be scared, manipulated, and made to give away what you earned with so much hard work. But if you know what you're doing, you can protect yourself and build real wealth. That's why my rich dad paid his tax planners big salaries, because he knew. Understand the system, that's the only way to win in it. And if you've read this far, it's clear. You have that fire in you that not everyone has. You have the mindset, the drive, and the courage to become rich. Now is the time to truly understand what minding your own business really means and start building true wealth. Keep working your job, but keep building your assets. Stay away from show-offs, but keep lighting up your future. Become rich, but with wisdom. Because the real difference isn't in luck, it's in your thinking. Rich people invent money. Yes, rich people don't just earn money, they create it. Now just imagine, a person comes from a poor background. He has just a few $1,000s in his pocket, yet he does something that turns him into a millionaire in a few years. How is that possible? The answer is simple. They understand how money works, and they learn how to create it. Let's say we have a stock portfolio. We buy 50,000 shares of an emerging company. Before, it gets listed on the stock exchange at just 10 cents per share. A few months later, the same company goes public, and the share price becomes $1 per share. Now think about it. A 10-cent share becomes $1. An investment of $5,000 turns into $50,000. This is what it means to create money. This is the kind of thinking that sets rich people apart from ordinary people. But this isn't just about making money. The real key is changing your mindset. Work to learn, not just to earn. Let me ask you a question. Can you make a good samosa? Many people proudly say, "Yes, I make amazing samosas." Then I ask them, "Then why does a samosa shop or company make more money than you?" And the answer becomes very clear. Because they are ahead of you in the game of business. Your samosa might taste better, but they beat you in business. Because they have learned how to get scale, how to build a brand, how to get market. And that is the difference between an expert and a rich person. There are millions of people in the world who are highly skilled, yet they remain poor or earn far less than what they deserve. Why? Because they only mastered their craft. but never learned the art of business, marketing, and wealth creation. The real enemy is ignorance. The world isn't filled with poor people. It's filled with uninformed people. And that ignorance keeps them trapped in money problems for years. People sharpen their skills, but don't learn how to de-sell those skills. People work hard, but don't know how to put money to work. People earn, but never think about how to make money from money. So remember, if you want to be rich, you must first become wise. Don't run after money. Learn how to make money chase you. Learn how to adopt a business mindset, how to build on systems, how to invest, and most importantly, how to create money, not just earn it. If you adopt this mindset today, then even if your pockets are empty right now, your bank balance can create history tomorrow. Because wealth doesn't start with money. It starts with mindset. And you've just taken the first step. Friends, rich, dad poor. Dad isn't just a story. It's a mindset, a perspective that can completely transform your financial life. If you haven't read this book yet, believe me, you're missing out on a treasure that teaches the true meaning of money. Now the decision is yours. Will you keep running in the same rat race your whole life? Or will you finally make money work for you? If you liked the video, make sure to like, share, and write in the comments, "I will make money work for me." And yes, for more powerful, thought-provoking book summaries like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because now is the time to change your mindset and become rich.